one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, duly called and held
On the 23rd day of September 2013 at 7:30 p.m. in the Trustees Room, 2nd floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, and put in public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law.
Whereas members of this board present at this meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting on September 9, 2013. Now therefore be resolved, this board approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. We're going to start with the bond resolution for this meeting.
Bond resolution dated September 23rd, 2013. A resolution authorizing the issuance of $180,000 bonds of the Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, to pay the cost of the purchase and installation of a bar screen for the wastewater treatment plant in and for said village. Whereas all conditions precedent to the financing of the capital project hereinafter described, including compliance with the provisions of the State Environmental Quality Review Act as a Type 2 action, have been performed, and whereas it is now desired to authorize such capital project and its financing, now therefore be it resolved by the affirmative vote of not less than 2/3 of the total voting strength of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, as follows. Section 1. The purchase and installation of a bar screen at the wastewater treatment plant in and for the Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, including incidental expenses in connection therewith, at a maximum estimated cost of $180,000 is hereby authorized. Section 2. It is hereby determined that the plan for the financing of the aforesaid maximum estimated cost is by the issuance of $180,000 serial bonds of said village, hereby authorized to be issued, therefore, pursuant to the provisions of the local finance law. Section 3. It is hereby determined that the period of probable usefulness of the aforesaid specific object or purpose is 40 years, pursuant to subdivision 4 of a paragraph of Section 11.00 of the local finance law. It is hereby further determined that the maximum secured maturity of the serial bonds herein authorized will not exceed 5 years. Section 4. The faith and credit of said Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, are hereby irrevocably pledged for the payment of the principal and interest on such bonds as the same respectively become due and payable. An annual appropriation shall be made in each year sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on such bonds becoming due and payable in such year. There shall annually be levied on all the taxable real property of said village a tax sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on such bonds as the same become due and payable. Section 5. Subject to the provisions of the local finance law, the power to authorize the issuance of and to sell bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance and sale of the serial bonds herein authorized, including renewals of such notes, is hereby delegated to the village treasurer, the chief fiscal officer. Such notes shall be of such terms, form, and contents, and shall be sold in such manner as may be prescribed by said village treasurer, consistent with the provisions of the local finance law. Section 6. All other matters except as provided herein relating to the serial bonds herein authorized, including the date, denominations, maturities, and interest payment dates, within the limitations prescribed herein, and the manner of execution of the same, including the consolidation with other issues, and also the ability to issue serial bonds with substantially level or declining annual debt service, shall be determined by the village treasurer, the chief fiscal officer of such village. Such bonds shall contain substantially the recital of validity clause provided for in Section 52.00 of the local finance law, and shall otherwise be in such form and contain such recitals in addition to those required by Section 51.00 of the local finance law, as the village treasurer shall determine consistent with the provisions of the local finance law. Section 7. The validity of such bonds and bond anticipation notes may be contested only if 1. Such obligations are authorized for an object or purpose for which said village is not authorized to expend money, or 2. The Provisions of law which should be complied with at the date of publication of this resolution are not substantially complied with, and an action, suit, or proceeding contesting such validity is commenced within 20 days after the date of such publication, or 3, such obligations are authorized in violation of the provisions of the Constitution. Section 8. This resolution shall constitute a statement of official intent for purposes of Treasury Regulations, Section 1.150-2. Other than is specified in this resolution, no monies are or are reasonably expected to be reserved, allocated on a long-term basis, or otherwise set aside with respect to the permanent funding of the object or purpose described herein. Section 9. This resolution, which takes effect immediately, shall be published in summary form in the official newspaper of said village for such purpose, together with a notice of the village clerk in substantially the form provided in Section 81.00 of the local finance law. The question of the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote on a roll call, which resulted as
Trustee Siri.
Yes.
Trustee Ruckman.
Yes.
Trustee Subject.
yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
We have 4, 1 absent. 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, and now we'll go immediately to Mrs. Jones, the PBA.
Okay, whereas the Village of Fredonia and the Fredonia Police Benevolence Association has reached an agreement regarding the terms and conditions of employment of the members of said organization, and whereas the term of said agreement shall be from June 1st, 2012 to May 31st, 2016. Now therefore be it resolved that said agreement is hereby approved, and the mayor is hereby authorized to sign said agreement on behalf of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay. Reports.
Okay, we have 2 reports tonight. We have the Justice Report for the month of August 2013. There were a total number of 154 cases heard, of which 86 were vehicle and traffic, 45 criminal, 15 village ordinances, 5 civil cases, 3 ABC laws, with a total amount, including parking tickets, of $14,987. The second report is from the Fire Department for the month of August 2013. There were a total of 136 calls, of which 107 were rescue and EMS, 20 false alarms and false calls, and just a few miscellaneous in there, 1 fire.
Correspondence.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the J.S. Lambert Hook and Ladder Company to transfer the name of Dwayne Davis from the active roll to the honor roll.
Be it resolved that the name of Dwayne Davis, 3361 Stone Quarry Road, Fredonia, is hereby transferred from the active roll to the honor roll, J&S Lambert Hook and Ladder Company, effective immediately.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Correspondence was received from Mary Jane Starks on behalf of the Festival's Fredonia Committee requesting permission to use West Barker Common Park, including the gazebo, and to bag the parking meters around the perimeter of Barker Common for the Harvest Moon Cemetery Tour on Friday, October 18th and Saturday, October 19th, 2013 from 6 p.m. until midnight.
Be it resolved, permission is hereby granted to Festivals Fredonia Committee for the use of the West Barker Common, including the gazebo, for the Harvest Moon Cemetery Tour event August 18 and 19, 2013, from 6 p.m. until midnight, and be it further resolved that the Police Department bag parking meters around the perimeter of West Barker Common and across the Main Street side of the East Barker Common for pickup and unloading of passengers for the trolley cemetery tours. And be it further resolved that the Festivals Fredonia has permission to decorate the gazebo for the Halloween season by putting up lights and decorations from Saturday, October 12 through Saturday, November 2nd, 2013. This approval is also subject to receipt of a certificate of insurance in the amount of $1 million, naming the Village of Fredonia as additional insured, which the village has received.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Passed.
A letter dated September 16, 2013 was received from Ron and Mickey Pucci addressing concerns with the amount of traffic on Route 20 during football games and requests a police officer to direct traffic at the bottom of the hill on Route 20 during and after football games, and to add a street light on the corner at that location, and it provides signage for visiting teams and fans, directing them to parking lots at the school. A letter also was received dated September 3rd, 2013 from Teresa Bung regarding street signs at Fredonia High School. The final correspondence was received from Tom Battaglia, Director of Fredonia Pomfret Recreation Department, requesting that,
Sorry.
well, we did receive the correspondence,
Right.
requesting that the hours of curfew be set for Halloween trick-or-treating in the village of Fredonia and town of Pomfret, and recommendation for annual Halloween costume parade, that with the resolution being tabled for tonight.
And now we come to the time of public portion. If anyone would like to address this board at this time, please go right ahead.
My name is Ray Lewandowski, 36 Carroll Avenue. I've been here before talking about the village water, and it's starting to get, I brought in this bath brush that I have in my shower area. You can see the blackness starting to develop. And I hope I don't have to go through another winter of the same stuff. And I brought this to show you folks what's going on. It's been good most of the summer. Then this started here about a month ago. I don't know if it was basically the start of it when the college came back in that time frame. And also, I believe that the village of Fredonia was selling water to Dunkirk, and maybe shipping the water down to Dunkirk that started this problem. But it's definitely what we had last year. But whatever happened during the summertime was fairly good.
Was it the same time of the year last year that it happened?
Yeah, it started in the fall last year
Hmm.
and went through the whole winter months. Now, the impression I'm under is that they took Carroll Avenue, and Jack can verify this, we put the flusher in, and in order to get the flusher to work correctly, they shut off the valve at Central and Carroll and took us out of the loop and made us dead end. And I'm here this evening asking if you folks would give Jack permission to open that valve up again, shut the flusher down, and see what happens.
Okay, but during the summer it was flowing all right?
It was-
No problem?
Yeah, I didn't have this problem during the
Right.
summertime.
Okay.
This all started here about a month ago. And I could be mistaken, maybe that valve's open, but that's the impression I'm under.
Okay. Let me check on that, and I'll get right back to you, Ray.
Yeah, but I'm asking the board, and you gotta do something.
Right.
You know, I don't drink the water here, I drink Dunkirk's water. The other thing is that I'm asking you, we have a manhole at the corner of Carroll and Central. For 3 years, I've been trying to get that either raised, or Jack, a couple of years ago, put some blacktop on top of it, so that when we turn from Central to Carroll, you drop down into this, probably about 4 or 5 inches deep, and hit that manhole cover. And he put the blacktop on top, but he didn't cover the whole thing, so in case of an emergency, they had to open it up. Then they were able to do that and find the manhole without any problems. Well, then he did some work down there, and the blacktop came off. And I've been asking if they would do something about that, because when you come down Central, go past the traffic light at the college, and the traffic, if you don't get the red light, traffic is moving along pretty fast. As a result, when you go to turn into Carroll, if you want to miss that manhole, you got to pull out towards the center line and then turn to miss the manhole cover. And so otherwise you fall right into that manhole constantly with your car wheels. So I'm asking the board to look into that too. I really appreciate it. But especially the water, the drinking water,
Right.
not the
Right.
groundwater.
Right, well, we'll both.
We got those problems too.
Okay. Thank you, Ray. Would anyone else like to address the board? Yes.
Does that sound familiar to you? What he just said?
about trying to pull onto a street? Does that sound familiar? That's what I'm asking.
Right, it does sound familiar.
Yeah, and when is this never-ending project gonna be resolved? When is it gonna end, Steve? Is this project gonna be completed this year?
First of all, I don't appreciate you pointing your finger at me. If you want to ask me a question, ask me a question.
I did ask you a question.
As you pointed your finger at me. What's your question?
I was just emphasizing. I wasn't pointing my finger. My question is this.
Okay,
Is this
tomorrow,
gonna be resolved?
on Wednesday, we're meeting with the engineer.
Come on.
Okay,
Listen, no, you listen to me a minute. The engineer looked at this 10 days ago. He came down the street with Jack. They made the tour of the street. The time has gone by, nothing done. There hasn't been anything done on that street for 6 weeks. Now I'm gonna ask the question again. Is this project gonna be completed this year?
there has been things done on your street.
Like what?
A core has been dug out.
That should have been done to begin with, before the project started.
I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to answer your question. A core was taken out.
Answer my one question.
Will it be
You
done?
don't understand the urgency or the anxiety that people feel on that street. You simply do not. This board doesn't understand it. You don't understand it. How can we go 6 weeks without anything being done on the street? Explain that to me.
We have taken cores out. We're getting
That
ready.
should have been done to begin with.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
No, don't argue with me. Just give me an answer. Is there a resolution to this?
Are you gonna let me answer the question?
Yeah,
Okay.
please do. I'd like an answer.
The project's gonna be done this year. It's gonna have to be graded down a bit. The manhole covers are gonna be lowered and then brought back up to level, and the project's gonna be done this year prior to the snow falling.
Prior to the snowfall.
Prior to the snow, unless the snow comes very early.
And then what?
And then you're gonna have the surface that you need.
And after what?
You're gonna have the surface on your street that you need,
You're gonna have
And
the
you-
surface on the street that we need.
that you desire. You're gonna have a surfaced street.
We are going to have a surface street.
Does that mean paved?
Paved. Right.
And what if the snow comes? Before you're ready, you're gonna meet, when are you gonna meet, Wednesday? Is that what you told me?
I told you I'm gonna meet with the engineer on Wednesday.
Yeah, but he was here 10 days ago. Why are we waiting till this Wednesday?
I'm just telling you the information that I have. If you're,
Is he going to take care of the paving? This engineer?
we're not quite sure exactly who's gonna do the paving. The paving is gonna be done this year.
You don't know who's going to do it?
I'm not saying anything right now that I'm not gonna.
It's not going to be local, I hope.
Yeah, that's what you told us 2 weeks ago. You weren't gonna say anything until you had the facts. Here we are, 2 weeks later, no facts, the same old scenario.
Okay.
Oh, we mean okay. What is the answer?
The answer is, I'm not gonna sit here and battle with you. I've told you right now, I'm keeping in contact with you as I know anything. I've been sending you emails to keep you up to date with everything that I know as I know it.
Listen.
Is that true or false?
No, I'm gonna ask a question. I wanna ask Jack a question. He was with the engineer. What did he say? What did the engineer say to you people about the project? What did he say about it? I mean, what recommendations did he make? What were his findings?
I told you I was gonna meet with him Wednesday. I haven't talked to him directly
You know,
yet.
This is pathetic. I don't even wanna talk about it.
I have some things to say.
This is totally pathetic.
What baffles me to no end is we don't have a street. Everybody else in Fredonia has a street. We're taxpayers. We don't have a street, and we haven't all summer. We had issues with it years before, the same kind of stuff. It didn't get paved last year, it just got coated.
Which it was supposed to be done.
And it was supposed to be done, and then they said it was too late. All right, October's approaching. We don't have a street. I mean, that's abuse. That's abuse to the taxpayers of that street, of these streets. It's not right. And I don't know who's doing the street, but I hope it's not here. Obviously, and I'm sorry about this, but Jack Boland cannot build a street. And if you've been down that, you know he doesn't know how.
You've been down the street, you know.
He doesn't know how. He can't complete the project if he doesn't know how. Or is this on-the-job training, or what?
First of all, we don't pave streets ourselves anyway. We bring in either the county or a contractor.
Then what happened to the street? Why
That's
is
not-
it like that?
That's not the paving. The paving takes special equipment and special crew.
We understand that. We know that. We're not totally out of it. We understand that. What I don't, now, let me ask you this question. When this project is gonna regenerate, whenever that's going to be, and we're almost into October, who is going to do it? Who's gonna take everything down and do with the metal and everything? Who's gonna deal with that?
All I can say right now is it's all gonna be done.
Yeah, who's gonna do it?
If I have to do it myself, it's gonna get done. You're gonna have a street this year by the
Steve, answer
snowfall.
my question. Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna take down the road? Is the village gonna do it?
I think there's a grading crew that comes in and does the grading.
Is the village going to do it?
I can't answer that question.
Maybe
Jack,
Jack can answer it.
who does the grading?
The road will be milled by Villager Construction from Rochester.
By
Okay.
who?
Villager Construction.
So you do have an idea of what's gonna happen, even though you told me you didn't. He knows what's gonna happen. Maybe he can tell us the rest of the story. Okay, that construction, they're gonna come in and do it. What are you gonna do?
We'll lower the manholes before they get here. We'll raise them after they leave. After that, it'll be paved.
You know, you can say that with a certainty?
Yes.
Then why are we at this point? Why wasn't it done? You people knew this whole scenario was in jeopardy 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. Why wasn't it done then? Here we are, you sat on your hands for 6, 8 weeks, didn't do anything, and here at the last minute, we're running to try to get this completed. It doesn't even, where's the logic in this? I mean, it's baffling. I mean, you people don't live on that street. You don't deal with the bull crap that relates to it. And I'm not sure that you really even care that much whether it gets completed. And I'll be very surprised if it is completed.
Then you'll ruin your snow plows,
I mean,
because everything's sticking up everywhere.
no, they couldn't possibly plow this.
No. I mean, if anyone had a heart attack or had a severe bleeding problem, I can't imagine how an emergency truck in the middle of the night would make its way down that street with everything sticking up all over the place. There would be an accident, and somebody would end up dying because they couldn't get to them in time. You can't pull out of the street. That bush is in the way. You can't see. If there's an accident waiting to happen, the high curb is an issue. You try to pull out, somebody can't pull in if they have a big enough vehicle. So they have to sit on Central Avenue, hold up traffic. I mean, it's just not right.
It isn't right.
It
She's
just-
right. It
it
isn't
isn't.
right. I mean,
The
why
safety
do we
factor-
have to endure this?
And then is somebody gonna get sued because they didn't take care of this problem? If an accident does occur?
I mean, so,
It's very frustrating.
let me have this straight, as Jack said, an outside crew is going to come in and do the millage. We're gonna take an outside crew is gonna come in and do this. The village is gonna lower all the metal.
They just raised it.
And then, I know, and then somebody's gonna come in and pave. Who's gonna do the paving?
Either the county or a contractor.
And you kept telling us over and over again that the county was way behind
I
on
never
their
said that.
schedule.
I
Now,
said that they hadn't come yet. Okay?
You know, I found out today, I don't know what company it is that makes the blacktop and whatever, that they're doing a project today and then they're closing down. I don't know which company it is, but it's the one that does the parking lot from PGA. I mean P&G, sorry.
not PG.
And they're closing down already for the season. So, you know, what's going to be available?
I
I
can't
mean,
answer your question.
is the blacktop gonna be available? At this time of year?
There's no reason why it wouldn't be this time of the year. there's still paving going on this time of year. Okay?
Okay, what is your assessment as to what is the schedule for this project? The starting point and the ending point?
I can't give you that right now. Okay, I think it's time for us to move on. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Seeing no one.
Jack, I got a couple questions. What's the worst case scenario? Can you answer, I mean, if you guys, and when would you guys, because you said this Billinger construction is going to mill, if you guys were gonna go in and lower the pipes, when would that be? Would you start that this week?
This week.
Okay, if that happens, you take those pipes down, what's the worst case scenario? If it can't be paved? What will happen with that this winter?
There is no not paved.
Okay. So it'll definitely get paved.
It's definitely being paved.
Why were they raised in the first place?
I couldn't tell you that. I don't know why they were.
Jack, why were they raised in the first place?
We raised them, we thought we were ready for paving.
Now they're too high. You spent half the summer there raising those covers, blacktopping them in. Now you gotta jackhammer them or get out. I don't understand it. That's the blind leading the blind.
It's like a hit and miss. We'll try this, okay, if it works, fine, if it doesn't, then we'll do this. Well, this didn't work, so let's try this.
Okay.
They were gonna save us
Why
money.
didn't you do yourself a favor, this board, do yourself a favor, hire a construction company with experienced personnel, the right equipment, let them come in and do it and get out? Why wasn't that done?
It's too late for hindsight right now.
I didn't ask you that. I said, why wasn't it done to begin with?
And I'm saying it's too late for us to speculate on what should have been done in the past because I really don't know. All
Mr.
I
Flack,
know
I
is-
suggested it way back in a workshop. And we were told we could save some money, maybe 50 grand. And that's why the board ended up going with,
The idea was to recycle the old stuff, wasn't it? They were on there.
there was some kind of method. of
Yeah, they
doing
were
it.
gonna recycle it. They're gonna grind it up and recycle it, spit it out the back again and roll it.
Mhm.
And last year, the road was paved with, I don't know what it was, the slick or whatever you put down there, which was fine. It was a heck of a lot better than what it is now. And so that was done, I think, last September. And so in June, you ground it up again. That probably cost at least $30,000 to $40,000. I don't know for sure because I'm not in that business. But I'll bet that's what it cost. And so then it was reground again. For what? You gave us this.
We got codes everywhere. It's like driving through a bombed area. You gotta miss this code, miss that code, cross the street, somebody gotta stop and wait for you to go by the code, and then he can go by the code.
Yeah, you can't drive down the street.
That's not a two-way street anymore,
No.
that's a one-way street.
Yeah, and then there's one of those metal, the smaller ones. People drive down, it flips over, and then real sharp metal is exposed, and if you ran over that with your tire, you'd blow out your tires. People have had all kinds of car problems all summer. I know of a fact of one person who had to spend $600 to fix their car because of the street. And I don't know the facts of other people, but I know we've had tire problems. We have paint chips, other people have, the sensors are off, the cars are out of alignment, and they're spending all kinds of money to have these fixed. That's not right. It's abuse. It's not right.
Jack, are we
I mean,
gonna
it
wait?
looks like a 4-year-old did it. You know how a 4-year-old goes out and he likes to go down this little hill and down that little hill and jump over things and laugh. That's what it looks like.
Are we gonna find out Wednesday from the engineer, Jack, and then start lowering?
The engineers be looking at the road tours on Wednesday.
But what was the engineer doing on the 13th of September? I mean, he's gonna wait now until this coming Friday. We're just about into October. He's gonna look at the borings now instead
Well,
of
the
they're already
borings-
there. Why didn't he already look at them when he was on the street?
The borings hadn't been done yet.
Some were.
Well, I don't know. I can't speak to that because the only core borings that I'm aware of are the ones that were recently
But-
done.
He's an engineer. He can look at the
What-
street and
could
he
it-
can see that
okay.
it's way too high.
Mr. Flack,
Yeah.
enough has been said. We're aware of your problems, we're working on your problems, there's nothing we can resolve right this moment at this meeting. All we can do is work toward the future, and that's what we intend to do.
Work toward the future.
We intend
You're
to
gonna have us endure more of the
is,
same.
we're hoping to quickly resolve your problem.
I just have one more comment. How would any of you, feel if every time you drive out of your street, you're in fear? You're in fear of hitting somebody on a bike, you're in fear of scraping your car on a curb, you're in fear of being hit yourself because of the safety factor at the end of the street. I feel that every time I leave the street.
Now, which safety factor are you talking about?
Talking about trying to
The
get out.
bush, the narrowness, the big hump metal thing in the middle of the road, the high curb over here, and you can't leave the street and have somebody come in at the same time if the vehicles are big enough.
Right.
You can't. It's weird.
Steve, I have to say, I went a little overboard with this, okay? And I apologize to you, but this is just totally frustration. This is total
And
frustration.
we understand that. We understand
I mean,
the
this is-
frustration.
Beyond acceptability.
And all we can do is try to give you as quick resolve as we can. I can't know your frustration without living on that street every day. I do go onto the street quite a bit, and I know where you're coming from, and I would be angry also, under the same circumstances.
I don't think you're gonna save any money. I don't think that's gonna be, you're not gonna be saving any money with this project.
It's gonna be overspent.
You could have saved yourself a lot of headaches.
I'm not arguing that point. But, we're gonna rectify it as quickly as we can. And I'm sorry that you've had to go through this.
Okay.
And don't forget, don't forget Carroll. We're
Right.
only a street away,
Right,
or 2 streets away.
2 streets, yeah. Would anyone else like to address the public portion? Seeing no one, let's move on to resolutions.
Be it resolved that the mayor, board of trustees, village attorney, and village administrator are hereby authorized to attend the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce Annual Awards Banquet on Thursday, October 17, 2013, at the Williams Center, SUNY College of Fredonia.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Be it resolved that Matthew Christopher, Fredonia, New York, is hereby appointed to the position of part-time police officer on an as-needed basis at a rate of pay of $12.25 per hour, with no other benefits effective immediately, subject to all civil service rules and regulations.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Be it resolved that the village contribute $1,000 to Festivals Fredonia Committee for promotional expenses associated with the Fredonia History Days and Red, White, and Blues Festival, and be it further resolved that the Festivals Fredonia Committee has substantiated to the village of Fredonia the expenditure of such funds on publicity.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Business, I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
And we're gonna switch our last one to